Claude, they will never give him the idea that he is safe. There is always a chance that the Jawhead, Asalina, is just waiting at a certain area, and they're gonna throw an arrow, they're gonna go for the ejector. And that's the thing, RRQ Hoshi, they don't really like this Jawhead pick as much. You don't really see him come out from them. But if it's necessary, they will just go for it. And with the Claude on the other side, this is the perfect pick for them into the early game.
Honestly, like what you just added right there, let's talk about this lane pick as well. This gives not much safety net for that Claude, where every one of these members can just play ultra aggressive, dive straight to him, just catch him out, whether it's before or after the Blazing Duet is the best scenario to be able to catch him.
It's a good foil.
Yeah, and
it's mobility and it's catch.
Exactly, and now they're already eliminating all these difficult to deal with heroes such as the Khalid.
R7, Khalid.
Yeah, so where are they going with this?
Oh no, here's the thing. From last game, I'm not sure if it was Khalid on the, R7 on the Khalid, but RRQ Hoshi, I think they understand that they have to lock down Few. Again, Lusty has already made it through, so they attack the next best thing, and they attack both Few and the gold lane. Although I still have hope that maybe, just maybe, Bren Esports can actually flex this and put the Claude in the gold lane.
Potentially, yeah.
They need to.
I think, you know, throwing Claude into the gold lane is definitely a shout here, and that's why RRQ is just banning out the 1-1, saying at the very least where you're gonna have to flex the Claude. Claude is something that we can see, that we can deal with, and you can't really change it. The 1-1 could be flexible later on, so don't want to deal with that whatsoever. Thamo's getting banned out by Bren. It looks like they want to push RRQ towards that Lapu Lapu.
I think Bren is baiting out the Beleric right now for the side of RRQ Hoshi. Like you have the Claude, you ban out 2 side laners. It feels like you're baiting out something here, but that is going to be the gold lane Harith. Will RRQ Hoshi give in? Because the Claude Beleric relationship is actually, you know, very complex. It's a love-hate relationship.
I mean, to be fair, Lemon isn't playing, so they might not necessarily whip it out, but you don't really know. And I do like the Harith pick more so because you can flex him into that gold lane and in towards the mid lane as well, leaving that final pick to kind of predetermine, yeah, we could get the Lapu Lapu, we could still kind of spice things up and, you know, add in a Farsa if we really wanted to, or, you know, add in a bigger tank later on.
Yeah, 2 mages can still show up, 2 mages. Side lane, mage, and of course, mid for Few. Do note, I think it's very possible that a Harith can go into the XP lane as well.
Yeah.
What's scarier than an ultra-fast Zaman Force quick rotation? Like, that's the thing.
I don't really see anything, or I don't really see any hero on the side of RRQ Hoshi that will pin people down in a certain area.
I don't think they need to.
If anything, they're chasing. They're chasing.
They're hyper-aggressive here. They're playing with the Jawhead and as well as the Selena. Both of those predetermined that if you walk up, we will start trying to take advantage. But I think, you know, Bren, they've got some really good options here. We've seen the matchup time and time again between Selena into the Cho, where, you know, Cho can actually face tank a lot of these Abyssal arrows with a well-timed Shenpo, and then it's not that big of a deal. But coming in with that Sylvana, level 4 is going to be kind of interesting for both sides. I can't really tell who's going to win that level 4.
Okay,
but
I like this.
RRQ, they're going to be locking in the Ruby.
It gives them certain damage, it controls people, and they just want to hold them into place. And this is perfect for them. There's enough time for them to take people down. I mean, chasing down people, yes, that's true, but you still have to take into consideration the Zaman Force. Harith wants to be there. You know, Ling might be chasing them down, but I think Ling on the other side is just gonna go for the backline. I think that's their main idea here.
Yeah, we've seen this sort of composition before from the side of Bren Esports. What I'm really surprised is that they honestly didn't bother about the Alice pick or the Sylvana, which easily could have been banned away, and they offer 1-1 instead, which kind of secures things for RRQ. Like, hey, if game 1 it went our way, we're gonna do it again.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from here. And okay, so give or take, I think RRQ was prepared to lose the Sylvana, or, you know, arguably flex the Cho. But I think it's time as we get into the game to figure out this conclusion as we move on into game 2. Please, Butters, Contra, as well as Leo, Go for it. Cast this game. Give us some color.
Here we go, Brenny Sports versus RRQ Hoshi. If Butters was right, if the pacing for Brenny Sports actually is beneficial, that they learned a little bit from game number 1, we'll see. This should be the litmus test for that. Now, Lusty leashing a bit for Carl Teasy. This is a quick purple. I think this just allows Carl Teasy to be able to move out a little faster, get that BMI, and get that extra little bit of damage and mobility. And then moving on, that's also the purple. Oh, no, orange first. Orange first here for Sin.
Pretty interesting start, as we are already seeing a little bit of contest going over on towards Little Wanderer. And okay, I guess we're going to be staring at them just having a chance of snatching it away.
It makes a lot of sense to just go for the orange first for the Ling. Just because you want to be a bit faster than the Claude.
Game number 2 here. I really do wonder how will they shut down Sin's side, because they only got Lusty, and if he uses Weight of the Dragon to catch either the Harif or even the likes of Finn, it's easier to burst down. But Sin, they gotta make sure that they catch him real fast.
That's what Few is for. That's what Few is for. He is on the Sylvana, and I think he'll be a little more frugal when it comes to the Imperial Justice this time around, seeing how it didn't work out so well in game number 1. This gold lane matchup up top is also something interesting to note. Harith wins the early game compared to the Alice. Now Few spots one off. That's going to be Psycho right across the bush, and while the action isn't happening just yet, oh, nice arrow thrown out. Just misses by a hair.
I just love it that Bren Esports took something from Todak's book and they just put the Sylvana as a support. Like, you can do that. You're not limited into just those high damage dealing heroes. You can scale people there as well. Now with this Sylvana, they have the extra teamfight capability.
Yeah, and speaking of which, there's going to be an arrow hitting on towards Few. It's just going to be having his health tickle a little bit. But Ribbo, as much as he can, actually move across the map way quicker than the Harith, but he's already down low. It's really hard for him to join in if they were to start the turtle from the side of RRQ Hoshi. And we're just waiting for perhaps these guys to be prepared to make that rotation.
Yeah, between the two of them up top, Ribbo here and R7. Obviously, R7 has to telegraph when he's gone. But Rebo, on the other hand, can rotate towards mid and then somehow help out if this turtle fight does break out. As you can see, it's Lusty just waiting here in that pixel bush. That's going to be Zaman Force already committed. So Rebo can say, hey, no more Zaman Force. I think we can move on, try to do something. And after this orange buff, we can expect something big from Carl.
Yeah, and it's already going on the recall, so he can directly walk straight in towards the turtle pit pretty much quickly. Now, a little bit of the contention for the golden crab, if you may call it. So, gonna be a lot of gold coming for the side of Sin.
This is great for the side of Bren Esports. If you think about it, Vin hasn't been that hot onto hitting those arrows.
Yeah,
the
not so
opening
much.
wasn't there, and Carl Tizzy had a good 3 minutes. First 3 minutes were good for Carl Tizzy. Bren Esports here is going for the turtle, and there's no contest. Up top, Remo will be the target.
First blood here by R7. Again, they're trading lives for turtles. Rebo taken out. That's going to be a huge move for Sin, the first kill of the game. Now, the gold gap isn't so big. This is how we saw it earlier on. And so far, the fact that Rebo stayed in the lane, and that's 3 members of Arkeoshi that had the share of the EXP and the gold up top, that's what led to this very, very small marginal gain on Bren Esports, but there's no conversion really.
Yeah, and Calamity's life already in the hands of R7 after 1 kill in the back, but Psycho easily gets spotted out by Few with that sort of movement. Nothing much is going to be happening between the two of them, but of course, Psycho has a very big duty coming in towards those team fights, and he's got to catch out Kaltizi, but look at just the layers of things, and Kaltizi has already used the Blazing Web.
Calamity Reaper is something that R7 can just utilize, and if they ever want to pick fights right now, this might be the time that they should go for it. And The upper turret doesn't have any more energy shields, I think. It was chipped down a bit by R7.
Yeah,
here.
all three of them. Yeah.
And if ever they want to just go for this, their next objective, and Lusty here will be the first target for Vin that he hits.
Oh, Swift has the coursing river, and well, it definitely did happen in the river, of course, and the rest of the members of RRQ, they're moving right in, trying to set things up against Ripple, but they catch him on towards view. Savin Force being popped out as he tries to run away, and he survives.
Now the rotations coming up from RRQ Hoshi, it seems like they're reading into Bren Esports' playbook. They know where the hell is Bren Esports gonna come from.
Yeah, it's easy, and I think for now RRQ Hoshi will do that and try to make this gold gap a little smaller because Carl Teasy's not there yet. Carl Teasy's not there. Oh, Flat Teasy gonna be coming in. There's the ejector onto one. Turtle taken in by the Ling. That's Sin helping out. Lusty destroyed. That's Wiz King taking him in. Psycho, though, gonna get away from Flap Teasy. So far, it's a 1 for none. Rebo looking low. He is gonna... Oh, the flicker in! The flicker in! All the damage from R7, ladies and gentlemen. They're all low, but they're getting the kills nonetheless. Psycho just acting as a barricade. Carl Teasy and View can't do much. Wow, that was a total win. A wash for Bren Esports. They couldn't get anything. And conversion through the roof. A turret. You want a turret with that? Yes, sir.
Yeah, quite a destruction that we've just witnessed over on towards the turtle side, and RQ Hoshi has been able to also back a turret right down below, but I'm looking at the lack of responses coming in from Bren Esports side as well, but we saw an early usage of the Blazing Duet on towards those minions itself. I don't think it's relatively worth it.
I think Carl Teasy just understands that he has to speed up the clear.
Sure.
He has to catch up, and they can see that the gold gap is growing, and if he's not joining fights, which I think he shouldn't, then yeah, Blazing Duet, by all means, pull the trigger.
Now, I'm seeing Bren Esports having a hard time. Well, that's obvious, but still, we haven't seen Carl Teasy with the Blazing Duet, and it just seems to me that RQ Hoshi are picking their fights well. They fight in a time where Carl Teasy has his Blazing Duet down.
Yeah, again, it's just basics, it's fundamentals. Now, nice catch. Imperial Justice on a Psycho. Plus a Savin Force by R7. A few shields gonna save him there. The Tempest of Blade. And Sin knocks out Carl Teasy. Oh, R7 barely survives. Flap Teasy pops him open. That's a double for Sin, though. Rebo gonna get away. Blood O keeping him alive, but how long Vin is still alive here. Flap Teasy. Shot energy, is it enough for him to take on two? Oh, Wiz King and Vin. Here comes Sin with the orange buff. It's gonna hurt. Oh, I think they disengage. They know that Few can still deal a lot of damage.
Definitely have to disengage right there. It's a 2-for-2 trade, and it's still working out for side of Bren Esports. As least they do have Laptisi here, and they are getting flanked from multiple directions. It's a killing spree coming in for Sin, and the next one to fall, it's gonna be Sin that gets cut out. I think it's pretty okay with this catch.
Yeah, well, Few still the instinct to stay and know that I can out-sustain these members of RQ Hoshi left. The spiral strangling keeps El Capitan alive enough to make sure that when Carl Teasy comes back, they can contest for this turtle. And ooh, look at this down bottom.
Oh yeah.
Gives them enough space, and Carl gets hit by the arrow.
Oh,
Damage output.
that's gonna be Carl Teasy shut down. R7 takes the turtle. Zaman Force, there's enough shields in there to keep him alive. RRQ Hoshi shouting their lungs out. They know they won that all in.
This is the things that a Selena can do. It can hit your jungler in the middle of two people, and that's how impactful the
Trick
Selena
shot.
is if done correctly.
Oh, you just look at Wiz King and he does not even care how much you can put upon it, but Psycho is getting focused on, and they are already trying to get away to cut through the throats, and the Yuzong still gets away with that kill after expending that execute.
Oh, that was a beautiful execute. Full range, I believe, because Flapteasy clicked it as he was exiting. Now, if only this was a Festival of Blood. I think he made the call. That was a calculated decision prior to the game. He picks Killing Spree so that he lasts longer in these fights. I'm wondering if he's kicking himself right now saying, oh, I could have gotten stacks. I could have gotten stacks.
Maybe he might just be.
But at that point on, RRQ Hoshi could have just let Bren Esports go and try to go for another objective. But what do? They try to get as much kills as possible. Then Carl T's here is gonna have more time to just get his farm. There's no pressure for him. Lusty gets an Athena shield. They are slowly scaling up to that point where RRQ Hoshi, they might not have an answer for this Claude anymore.
Oh, here we go. Black back and forth. Flapteasy comes in. There's the Imperial, just catches one. R7 decimated. And now underneath the turret, this fight is going to continue. They're going to trade out Lusty. Taken out by Psycho. It's tank on tank violence. I still call it supportal combat.
No.
Oh, down bottom. Sin with a split push. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a worthy trade.
That was way too sneaky coming from the side of RRQ. Yes, they did trade, and it's okay for R7 right there as they still managed to catch on towards Lusty. Mid lane.
No, an ejector into the back. Tempest the blades, keeping him down. They're still alive. Flapteasy, quite a few hits. Oh! Few able to help ideally survive, but only for so long because Flapteasy is gonna bite it right here. It's only Few and Rebo. Lusty gonna be trying to come back. That's good. Blood out into the back lines, and Vin is getting the brunt of this all. And right now it's Few, and he's Spiral Strangling once more, poking the front lines, and there's a Zaman Force. Oh, you do best to disengage, and R7 gets one still.
These are the fights where you can see the split decision making coming up from these teams. Carl TC goes back in, takes down Leg. Now when they saw that, someone just jumped on Carl, took him down. The threat assessment here for both teams are so on point. They turn instantaneously if ever a high priority target is in front of them.
Yeah, as much... you just took the words right out of my mouth. They just appear and immediately they pull the trigger right there, just like how Rebo is getting chunked out. Blood trying to survive, but Rebo will still fall nonetheless. Now RRQ, they should be able to get the top side of the tier 1s, and the Lord is already out, but Few already engaging, and Coltizi gets caught out.
That's going to be the ejector into the Imperial Justice, resulting to not much. Tempest of Blades going to want to start a little bit more trouble in the purple buff. Bren Esports' jungle is a hot zone. That's going to be one for Few, one for Flapteasy. That's a double though. Sin shut down by the half dragon. Flapteasy here, he wants more. He smells blood. 2 for 2. I think that's as good as Bren Esports can get.
Okay, so now that's a 2 for 2, but the advantage here for Bren Esports is they have the retribution. They can get the Lord. Probably try to slow it up a bit, but Psycho and Whisking, they won't let that happen.
They're gonna force the issue, and here comes Rebo. Psycho gonna be going back. Oh, Wave the Dragon. Lasty says, get away from here, and the Lord is secured by Bren Esports.
Just one slight mishap coming from the side of RRQ Hoshi has opened things up, and it all led to this. When they saw Sin was already out, immediately they called for it, especially, you know, having no retribution on the side of RRQ. And by the time Rebo come, RRQ says, okay, this is definitely not going to be our Lord. And oh boy, this might just be the biggest comeback coming towards Game-2.
Otis, I have a question for you. 3 towers on RRQ Hoshi, but Bren Esports got the Lord. Who won the trade?
Definitely Bren Esports, because they are the ones who's gonna stall the game a bit. Now, this is a Luminous Lord. This is something RRQ Hoshi needs to send 2 to 3 people for.
At least.
So that means the turrets on the side of RRQ Hoshi are bound to go down, and that is one turret immediately at the hands of Bren Esports.
Guess what? They're even sending their own man upon it just to try to buy even more time, but here's
defensive Tempest of Blades on the Sin. He is out of this fight for now. Another push in mid. I think that turret down bottom might be next. Nay, make it this one in mid. And right now, Bren Esports, they're just taking as much time as they need to be able to secure the late game. Carl Teasy, call him Mr. I Don't Sleep.
Now, Leo contra, this is where the jungle choke happens. You can see that Bren Esports is scattering themselves all over the map. Contra, you were saying.
Yeah, it's all resources for the side of Bren Esports right after securing that Lord. Not only that, you see so many layers that we saw coming from the side of RRQ. Yeah, they want to go in for those picks every single time that they see Bren Esports. They try to dive right at him. Just look at the goal lead right now swinging in favor of the side of Bren Esports. Already 2.5, and well, there's going to be a lot of money for them to buy all these items in.
I just want to check the items right now so that we have a bit of time. Oh, no, there's a fight happening.
Oh, no, Injector started up. It's few. That's going to be Tempest of Blades. You know, Sin feels it right now. Black Dragon forming here by FlapTZ. Oh, and Whizking gets blown to pieces. Injector into the turret. Summon Force right there. That's going to be the barricade. Down goes Whizking. Rebo gets the kill, and that's 1 for Bren.
I think this is the perfect time to just go for an item check. So let's see
Better
what
late than never.
the Claude has. Demon Hunter Sword. He has the Athena Shield up.
Check.
He has the Golden Staff
Check.
up. So the items here are not all damage items, but still it gives him a certain amount of protection. For Flap, it's going to be a Cursed Helmet, a Queen's Mace, and a Bloodless Axe, plus an Oracle, extra tankiness. Rebo here is almost at item lock.
Ooh.
So we can expect a lot from him in the coming fights. R7 though, he has a Calamity Reaper, the Feather of Heaven, the Holy Crystal, everything that he needs to deal a certain amount of damage. But Sin with the Queen's Wings, that might help them in the coming fights.
Oh, hopefully it does, because Psycho's going right in with his unstoppable force already, but he is getting taken down immediately. And with that, R7 goes into the securing the killing spree by having View taken out.
Nice. Nice for RRQ. I like that RRQ is trading out effectively, and they defended that inhibitor turret relatively well. Could have been cleaner since Psycho had to go down just the same. But there is one thing that's alarming me. One thing that says, oh, RRQ Hoshi, I think they know that they're on the ropes, is because almost all Tempest of Blades in the past 2 or 3 team fights have been defensive. Right now, they want to pick this. Sin, another defensive Tempest of Blades going to be going back. And FlapTZ and Rebo are here. They're dealing the damage. They're raining it down. That's going to be Ling taken down. Another looking for it. Oh, waiting. Come back. That's R7 now. And from the back, it's Whizking. 3, 4, none. Bren Esports can go ahead and take this Free Lord second to the game. And from here, another penetration.
You can really see that easy connection. Once Sin goes down for Claude, what Flap does is he goes around with the Black Dragon form, just targeting Sin. And Sin can't do much about that.
Yeah, they went in a little bit too early, if you ask me, because they went in for that engagement by the corners of the jungle, and there's nothing much to get out of it. They loosen in the process. This is just history repeating itself.
Ooh.
And second Luminous Lord for the side of Bren Esports. I think they have got this game pretty much sealed.
Yep, Divine Glaive going over to R7, but check it out, FlapTZ just got his Sea Halberd now. Middle lane pushed in. Lord isn't even on the map just yet. Now, we have come from just building casual deadly blades into actually turning it into a full-on Sea Halberd, and that is just impressive. That just shows how much FlapTZ wants to really stop the regeneration and finish fights when they started, because I believe the next 1 or 2 team fights, if it even extends to that, could be the last.
Yeah, and looking at R7, they don't really have as much deaths. Whizking as well, so you really just have to stop them on their tracks. If they can stall out the game, make an important pickoff, make an important play, then that might be something that Bren Esports can lose from.
Yeah, speaking of losing stuff, they already lost the top side of the turret, and you can definitely see that Bren is absolutely caught out. That's not where he needs to be at, but the Lord is already sported, and Lusty is hunting for those kills. Bren Esports will definitely get this equalizer right here for the Philippines.
Sitting at 1-1, Butters, you may have been the herald of good news for many Filipino fans around the world.